Hello, my name's Elijah Wells, and today the Golden Globe nominations came out, so you know what it is, as in the award season has officially started. So, without further ado, let's get into it. For Best Film and Drama, we have The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, and September 5. Again, this is a pretty interesting category, in my opinion, like all these. Particularly with Brutalist, which is a movie's runtime, which is a stonking and also incredibly brutal 3 hours and 35 minutes. Like, there comes a point where I think even a toilet break is even mandatory at this point. But again, this is apparently also includes like a 15-minute intermission as well as some interludes as well, like in the old days, like something like Lords of Arabia. But again, I kind of want to see how much the cinema I work at probably pulls this off, or if they're going to pull off at all. Like, if they're going to do a version where the intermission is cut out, or they're going to keep the intermission in like they did with Kills of the Flower Moon, where they added an intermission, which the screening I actually went to. And we have Completely Unknown, a movie about Bob Dylan. Conclave, the movie about the election of a new pope, which I actually liked. Dune Part 2, which is also a brilliant movie. Yes, I'm very glad to see it, but unfortunately underperforming in this Golden Globes, since it already has this nomination and the Best Score nomination, which is really surprising. Nickel Boys, which did come in hot really early in the award season, but seemed to have died out a little bit, but it could be proven wrong. And September 5, which is a bit of a dark horse as well in the award ceremony, about the attack on the Israeli athletes and referees during the 72 Olympics in Munich. And I think I want Dune to win Best Picture for Drama, but I think realistically it's going to go to most likely Brutalist or maybe Conclave, but I think for more realism here, I think The Brutalist is going to win, which is Adrian Brody plays an architect who fled Nazis after World War II and discovers the American dream by being a brutalist architect. And we have Best Film for Musical Comedy, Anora, Challengers, Emilia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Wicked. Again, some really good movies there, some films I've definitely heard a lot of high praise for, like Anora, which I heard is really good, so is Challengers, Emilia Perez, which I did watch recently on Netflix, which is also a really good film, but not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a pretty good film. A Real Pain, which is, I think, Jesse Eisenberg's second film as a director, after, when you're done Saving or Defending the World. He was also really big as an actor, of course, with Social Network. The Substance, a brilliant yet really brutal and graphic movie, so much so it definitely traumatized my dad. And Wicked, a fun little musical, which I actually really like, or part 1, but yeah. I think I'm hoping that Emilia Perez would win, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if Wicked pulls off a win there. But also there's Anora, which, again, I wouldn't be surprised, but if I have to pick any of these three films at gunpoint, being Anora, Emilia Perez, or Wicked, I think I'm going to have to go with, at gunpoint, maybe Anora. But for Best Film not in an English language, we have All We Imagine as Light from France-India, Emilia Perez from France, The Girl with a Needle from Denmark, I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, and Firmigio from Italy. There are definitely some great movies like Emilia Perez, again, brilliant film, even though it's a French submission, it is a movie that's done entirely in Spanish and also set, again, mostly in Mexico, which is a brilliant movie. Also, the same thing with Seed of the Sacred Fig, which is, although a German submission, this is a movie that's set in Iran, particularly about a massive protest happened a few years back. Again, and many calls the director is currently in exile, presumably in Germany, given that it's under submission there. But I think it's going to go for Emilia Perez for Best Foreign Film. And for Best Animated Feature, we have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. It's definitely going to go to The Wild Robot. As much as I enjoyed Inside Out 2, even though I've both rated them really highly, I think at Letterboxd I'd give them both 9 out of 10s, or 4.5s out of 5s, depending how weird you want to be about your rating system. But again, they're both brilliant films, but I think it's going to definitely go to Wild Robot. There's Flow, of course, which is from Latvia, if I remember correctly, about a stray cat who survives a flood, which does look interesting. Memoirs of a Snail, from the same guy who did Mary and Max, originated out in Australia. And Moana 2 is a bit of a surprise entry, just because the movie, of course, made huge waves in the box office due to Thanksgiving, but did receive some very mediocre response, like a very mediocre reception. There's Wallace and Gromit's Vengeance Most Foul, even though it's not out yet here in the UK, because it'll come out on Christmas Day on BBC, but it'll come out on Netflix like just after New Year's. And here's a category that baffles me even to this day. Like, say what you will about the famous conspiracy theories, like what built Stonehenge, what built the pyramids, and whose idea to make cinematic and box office achievement thing a thing now. I thought we let go of it one thing in, like one ceremony in, but no, the Golden Globes are confident they want this to be a thing. Like, I think at this point now, I'm really understanding why, I don't know, best casting is a thing. But here, I'm guessing it's meant to give the execs a pat on the back, or maybe awards like the studio accountants or something. Like, it makes no sense, this category, at all, no. Like, we have nominees like Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Deadpool vs. Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Twisters, Wicked, and Wild Robot, which, again, what are you awarding it based on what basis? Like, most profit, or most surprising win, or how well they did in the box office, or something? Like, yes, it doesn't even include any indie movies, which I found really bizarre in my opinion. Like, it didn't do that either last year, when it could have gone with like Sound of Freedom or something, but I think it was also a good year for indie cinema. Like, Civil War was big, Long Legs, I remember that was a bit of a big deal. The Substance, which I did watch with my dad, and again, that was a huge movie in the box office, and we got these. Like, yeah, all these nominees did adjustably well in their own right, like how well they did in the box office, and critically, they seem to went from alright to unanimous acclaim, in my opinion, but who wins, I don't care. And for Best Actress in Drama, we have Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door, Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here, and Kate Winslet for Lee. Again, this is another pretty noble snub, that it does include Saoirse Ronan for Outrun or Blitz, which I heard some pretty good things about, and she was like everywhere on the press, but nowhere to be found here either. Well, I think if we're being a bit realistic, I can't imagine that Tilda Swinton would win for The Room Next Door, but wouldn't be surprised if like Angelina Jolie or Nicole Kidman would win it. But I'm placing my money that Tilda Swinton would win for The Room Next Door. For Best Actor in Drama, we have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig for Queer, Coleman Diogeman for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for Apprentice. Again, this is a very big mixed bag we have here, like Daniel Craig for Queer, which I am hearing like plenty of good things about it, even though there are some rumours of studio interference. Like, the original cut was allegedly 3 hours long, but being trimmed down for just over 2 hours, which might dent its Oscar chances, or might boost him if more reports came out about it. But there's also Ray Fiennes for Conclave, which, again, brilliant movie, and Sebastian Stan as a dark horse as the unfortunately elected president Donald Trump for Apprentice. Again, he was a brilliant performance in this movie, and I did a review about it if you want to check it out. But again, I think Adrian Brody for The Brutalist is going to be the winner in that category, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Fiennes were to win for Conclave. But this is just the world we live in my opinion. For Best Actress in Musical Comedy, we have Amy Adams for Night Bitch, and Serena Revivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Guzman, sorry if I mispronounced her surname, for Emilia Perez, Michael Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for Substance, and Zendaya for challenges, which again, a lot of big contenders in the movie, like particularly Demi Moore, who made a massive comeback in this movie, and Savannah Revo for Wicked, who's going up in the ranks at the moment, and Mickey Madsen, who is pretty much her breakout role at the moment for Nora, and Zendaya now being at the moment at the epicenter of her own critical acclaim, like with that movie and June 2, like a lot of praise is heading towards her direction, but there's also the more mixedly reviewed stuff like Amy Adams, who's always well liked by award circuits for her performance in Night Bitch. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Demi Moore would win for Substance. Like, she did a brilliant performance in this movie, despite how unforgivably gruesome it got. But I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if Mikey Madsen won for Nora. And of course, we go for Best Actor in Comedy Musical, like Jason Isbell for Real Pain, Hugh Grant for Heretic, Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness, and Glenn Powell for Hitman, and Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. Like, I think it's very surprising that Hugh Grant got nominated for Heretic. Like, okay, he was well liked in the movie. For Comedy Musical, like, okay, he did an impersonation of Jar Jar Binks, like, Misha Wilkie. Yeah, that was my best impersonation, but surprisingly really underperforming at the moment is Kinds of Kindness. Like, it didn't take off like Yorgos Lanthimos' other movies like The Favourite or Poor Things. I think it just didn't exactly set the world on fire like his last two films did. It's so much so it didn't do great in the box office, given its runtime and its way more abstract than usual plot. But I think if we're going for winners, I think Jesse Eisenberg will win for A Real Pain. And for Best Supporting Actress, we have Ariana Grande for Wicked, Selena Gomez for Amelia Perez, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Margot Corelli for Substance, Isabelle Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. Again, some really good movies right there. I'll say most of these movies, except for Brutus, which hasn't came out yet in public in the UK yet, but I definitely at this point want to check it out, despite its pre-audacious runtime. Again, this is the category which everyone is talking about. Main course has the huge superstars in pop music with Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, and also the huge following that is The Substance at the moment, and of course Zoe Saldana, who's a massive blockbuster queen with performances in like Guardians of the Galaxy, the Marvel movies, and as well as the Avatar movies. Again, I think this is the category that definitely pleased a lot of people in my opinion. But I think for the winner, it's definitely Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. Like, she gave a really knockout performance in that movie. Like, she is absolutely brilliant in that movie. And for Best Supporting Actor, we have Yora Bozanov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. Again, some really massive contenders like Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, who you may already know or not know that he is the brother of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. And we have Edward Norton, who's also really big, and at the moment with Complete Unknown, we have Guy Pearce for Brutalist, Jeremy Strong as well for Apprentices, and of course Denzel Washington with Gladiator 2, which also has been underperforming at the awards, particularly in Golden Globes. Like, I think this is the only nomination, I think, at the moment. You know, I definitely do like that movie, and Denzel Washington's performance is definitely a strong highlight in that movie, but if we're going to boil it down to who's actually going to win this, I think Kieran Culkin for Real Pain might be the winner for that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Guy Pearce won for The Brutalist, but here we go. And for Best Director, we have Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker for Anora, Edward Berger for Conclave, Bradley Colbert for The Brutalist, Caroline Fogat for The Substance, and Pere Capita, sorry if I mispronounced your name, for All We Imagine as Light. Again, although these are not household names in the movie industry, like, I think the closest to it is maybe Sean Baker with like a Florida Project, which is a pretty big film in the indie scene. But I think he could be the winner in that one. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amelia Perez would win or Brutalist would win. But I think Anora for Sean Baker is going to win then. Also, we move over to screenplay. We have Emilia Perez, Anora, Brutalist, A Real Pain, Substance, and Conclave. Again, I'm pretty much imagining a win for like Conclave in my opinion, because the screenplay in that movie is absolutely brilliant. There's also Substance, which definitely has some clout behind its screenplay, given it did win Best Screenplay at the Cannes Film Festival. And there's also a lot of attention for The Brutalist, in my opinion, as also with Emilia Perez, but I think Anora is going to win for Best Screenplay. And finally, we move to the music category. And we have for Best Song, Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl, Compress Repress for Challengers, El Mal for Emilia Perez, Forbidden Road for Better Man, Kiss the Sky from Wild Robot, and My Camino for Emilia Perez. This is good. Even though I've listened to all these songs on YouTube just before I recorded this video, so this is just my fresh reactions for like half these songs, since I did see Emilia Perez, I did see Wild Robot, so Beautiful That Way is a good song from Miley Cyrus. I really love Compress Repress from Challengers with Trent Reznor and Otis Ross. There's Alma for Emilia Perez, which in my opinion is the best song in that movie, which is a musical. Forbidden Road from Better Man by Robbie Williams. Even though love him or hate him, he does do a pretty good song in that movie about a biopic as a monkey for some reason. I don't know. It could come out good. Kiss the Sky from Robot, which is a very nice sunny little song, very digestible. And there's My Camino for Emilia Perez, which done by Selena Gomez. I think I prefer the song she did a lot earlier on, which I completely forgot the name of, which again, both these songs are really good, but I think when it comes to a song I come back to most, it's definitely a Compress Repress, but since I did hear the song, which I can't remember when I did, but I was like hooked on the song, like Compress, Repress, and then just surrender, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like, that is a very vibey, very catchy song from Nine Inch Nails, who are, as a band, they're composing the upcoming Tron Ares movie, which, again, I'm really stoked for. But I think also El Mal for Emilia Perez is also a really good song, so I might see it go for there, but I'm holding out for Compress Repress for Challengers, but realistically it's El Mal for Emilia Perez. And last, and certainly not least, we have Best Score. We have Conclave, Brutalist, Wild Robot, Emilia Perez, Challengers, and June Part 2. June Part 2 did attract some controversies, particularly with its score. Like, yes, Hans Zimmer did do a brilliant score with the first film, and did so again in the second film, and he did not get nominated for the Oscar and BAFTA. Like, okay, hold on. The nominations for these two ceremonies are not even out yet. Well, he got disqualified for some really bizarre, blatant reason for, my opinion. Like, I think it's due to technical issues or legal issues, or just fell into a weird regulation thing about best score. But he's not going to be nominated for BAFTA and Oscars, and you're going to hear a lot of me about this. But it's very interesting to hear that he didn't get nominated. But we'll just move on because I had high hopes for that one. But a Wild Robot, from I remember, the score was absolutely beautiful and sweeping. And also Conclave, which is almost plays into more psychological thriller territory with its score with a lot of strings. And Brutalist, even though we haven't heard too much from the score, but from the trailer with its very sweeping trumpets and wind instruments, like do 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 do, from its really beautifully shot and beautifully edited trailer for a 3.5 hour long movie, I think I would not be surprised if Brutalist were to win, so much that I might be backing it, but I'm holding out for Wild Robot to win for Best Score. So, what do you think of the Golden Globes nomination? Let me know in the comments down below, subscribe to our channel, like this video, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Letterboxd and Blue Sky and Threads, and this is Elijah Wells, and bye!